Alright guys, I'm back with the Knight Rider in-universe build from MPC in 1/25th scale. This is my take on it, and just to let you know where I'm at with the chassis modifications. Let's take a look. Alright, now the paint applications are all done. Here you can see I've got the chassis painted, weathered. It's as this is the in-universe build, the chassis would have been replaced when they built kit. It would have been the entire chassis would have been replaced with a lightweight, super high strength titanium based alloy, which is why the chassis has this titanium color scheme. Now this I accomplished by spraying a base coat of titanium silver from Tamiya, and then doing the highlights with titanium gold and bronze, both from Tamiya, and then bringing out the details with the Tamiya Tamiya panel line paint. The chassis is not really as well detailed as I would like, but the panel line paint and the paint applications that I did to it for their shadows and highlights and all bring out the detail that it does have. You can see the wiring harnesses running across the car quite a bit better now, and does take on a really nice metallic tone. So let me mock up all the parts now that I think I've finally made my final design, and we'll show it to you. Okay, here we go with the additional parts all mocked up and temporarily in place. Nothing's been glued down yet. Right now I'm still playing with some final adjustments to everything, but this is where what I envision was really under Kit's skin while on the show. Let me just go over some of the imaginings of my Kit. In the rear of the car, there would be a tiny micronuclear reactor that would require cooling, which is the reasoning for these two large radiators in the back of the car. This is the hatch for loading or unloading nuclear material. Small coolant pump here, which will transfer the coolant to both radiators and across the reactor core itself. Armor plating here to protect the reactor core and make sure that nothing punctures it. Now, the reason it has a small nuclear power plant is because the rear differential is no longer directly connected to the engine. It now has a high-powered electric motor which will spin the gears driving the rear wheels based on input from Kit's sensors and model and throttle application. This will allow Kit to have 100% of torque at 0 RPM from a standing start. If you want to know what that's like, then just look up Tesla. So I've added a couple of parts there, just to try and transform. There may be a couple of more details added to this rear diff, but once it's painted, everything's going to look uniform, and it'll look as if this is the rear of the electric motor, some sort of synchronization sensors there, or something that looks high-tech on that differential, but we'll be adding a couple more things just to dress it up a little more. More greebles are one of the things I haven't finished off yet. Now we have the steel plate covering all the electronics and cabling that are connecting these reactor and the electric rear diff to the front of the car. And this steel covering is armored plating is to protect all the sensitive equipment under there. And here we have more armor plating on the front of the car to protect the front section where the turbine engine. This is the new high-tech, top-secret Knight 2000 turbine engine housing. This armor plating here is to protect the floor pan and all the ducting that drives to the turbo jump jets. These are the jump jets that exhaust that would allow KITT to make all those crazy jumps that he does on the show. Now, these jump jets are powered by the turbine engine, as that has to produce a lot of thrust to launch the car the way it does. So the turbine engine is actually responsible for making KITT fly, not necessarily propelling KITT on the ground. Now here we have a cooling system for the turbine engine, along with several control units attached. Everything is plated in armor to protect it and make sure that nothing's going to break through it. And this plate here underneath the front valance, also more armor plating to protect the sensitive equipment, as this car no longer has a combustion engine, just this turbine. So that is how my KITT is powered, as obviously, based on what the car did in the show, there's no way it could be powered by a 1980s GM V8. As in the Fibers and the Camaros, I don't think they made much more than 180 horsepower of that vintage. I don't know if anything was ever stated on how KITT is powered, or exactly how much of the actual Trans Am is left underneath its shell. But based on what it did in the show, I'm going to say not much. So this is the first phase of the in-universe Knight Rider build. All of these parts are photo etch parts that I've scavenged from these Metal Earth kits, the Imperial Shuttle, Apache helicopter, and some from a locomotive kit. And I think it's looking pretty good. Once I finish up a few more details, then I still have a bit of paint to apply to this front panel here, and a couple more greebles to add to it, just to dress it up a little bit more. And a little weathering on these panels here. And then I think KITT will be done. The chassis anyway. Also working on the suspension and making a little more of a realistic look to these to the shocks here with some aluminum tubing. And once I get all that together, it'll be steerable with a bit of extra detail. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Just give you one last look at the underside of KITT, all the weathering, electric rear diff, so that's how I think KITT works. How do you guys think it works? Alright, see you in the next one.